Welcome to Tales of Terror, a world where reality bends and nightmares come to life. Brace yourself, because what awaits you in these words is way beyond the realm of ordinary tales. Get ready to embark on a journey that will test the limits of your imagination and possibly drive you crazy. Every word, every letter carries dangerous power, weaving a web of suspense and intrigue. Deep within this novel, you will find a singular purpose, one that leads you relentlessly toward frightening revelations. As the veil lifts, an answer awaits lurking in the shadows. These are Tales of Horror, a channel dedicated to exposing the darkest corners of the human psyche. We invite you to subscribe and join our community, for your active participation and feedback serve as the lifeblood of our endeavors, fueling our relentless quest to discover more spine-tingling tales. Enter if you dare, and let the journey begin.
Allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is William, a solitary soul navigating the intricate tapestry of life. At 30 years old, I find myself alone, with no kinship ties to anyone on this vast planet. The tragic loss of my parents in an accident 7 years ago thrust me into a world of solitude. Making friends has always been a challenge for me, as I struggle to forge connections and often prefer the simplicity of my own company. However, there is one exception in my otherwise solitary existence: Robert, my colleague at work. While we don't engage in lengthy conversations, we share a camaraderie that has earned him the title of my friend. On the rare occasions when we venture out, it is usually alongside his wife, Amelia, and their young son, Tom. Robert has been happily married for nearly a decade and is my senior by 5 years. I am not one to actively seek out friendships or acquaintances, for I cherish the tranquility of a quiet life. The fewer distractions, problems, and conflicts that come my way, the better. There was a time, however, when love blossomed within me. As to why I fell for someone, the answer lies in the lines above, etched into my heart. Today marks the beginning of a new year, and just like every year, I will spend this day in solitude. No calls will come, and no reminders of companionship. I switch on the television, mindlessly tuning into the monotonous weekly program. Before me, a photograph of my beloved parents stands, accompanied by a small dish in their honor. Memories flood my mind, taking me back to the days when I would celebrate this day with them, basking in the joy of their presence. But fate dealt a cruel blow, snatching them away and leaving me bereft. In a sudden twist, my phone jolted to life with an incoming call, but the number on the screen remained hidden. Tentatively, I answered, "Hello," only to be met with silence on the other end. Faintly, I could hear a voice speaking, but the sound kept cutting off, making it difficult to comprehend the words being uttered. Yet, amidst the garbled speech, a single sentence emerged clearly: "Save your friend, Robert, and Locke." An avalanche of bewilderment washed over me. What was happening? Without hesitation, I dialed Robert's number to share the bizarre encounter, but he didn't answer. The urgency of the situation compelled me to act swiftly. I hurriedly got dressed and left my house, determined to reach Robert's side. Perhaps this mysterious call posed a genuine threat, and my friend's safety was at stake. Arriving at Robert's home, I pounded on the door with an almost frantic fervor. Startled, he swung the door open, taken aback by the force of my knocking. "William, what are you doing here?" "You shouldn't be outside your house right now," he exclaimed, clearly bewildered. Driven by fear and concern, I pushed past him, insisting that he should contact the police. I recounted the phone call, relaying the menacing threat that had been directed toward him and his family. Robert, however, erupted into laughter, as if dismissing my words as a childish game. "Are you out of your mind?" he chuckled. "What kind of twisted prank is this? If someone intended to harm me, they wouldn't call you beforehand. They would strike without warning. Come, let me make you a warm drink. It's freezing out there. Sit down, William." Confusion clouded my thoughts as I contemplated his words. Had I overreacted? Was it all a figment of my imagination? Doubt gnawed at me, but one thing was certain: there was more to this particular situation than meets the eye. I settled into the chair while Robert disappeared into the kitchen, returning moments later with a steaming cup of coffee. As we sat together, sipping the hot brew, our conversation carried on for over an hour. But as the clock struck 12, signaling the end of the year, an eerie silence settled upon the house. In an instant, Robert vanished before my eyes, and darkness engulfed the surrounding. My vision blurred, leaving me disoriented and unable to make sense of the rapid movements around me. I struggled to regain my balance, but my limbs felt paralyzed, rendering me helpless. Despite my efforts to stay conscious, sleepiness overpowered me, and I succumbed to its embrace. Suddenly, a powerful force yanked me into a room within the house, the door sealing shut behind me. The anguished screams of Robert, his wife, and their son echoed outside, sending chills down my spine. Desperate to escape, I fumbled with the doorknob, but my nerveless fingers failed me. Within the confines of the room, a growing restlessness stirred within me. I scanned every corner, straining my eyes to discern any detail. And then, in the darkness, I caught sight of a towering figure, measuring 2 meters in height and unnaturally thin. Fear coursed through my veins as I realized the dire predicament I was in, unable to move, trapped in my paralyzed state. The sound emitted by the creature, a bone-chilling noise, filled me with terror, shattering what little composure I had left. Overwhelmed, I closed my eyes, resigning myself to an imminent fate. Suddenly, a powerful blow struck me, plunging me into unconsciousness. When I regained consciousness, I found myself sprawled on the floor, my head throbbing in agony. Blood stained my hands, matching the pools that adorned the room. Amelia's mutilated body lay before me, along with Tom's lifeless form. A headless corpse, undoubtedly Robert's, completed the gruesome scene. Devastated and overwhelmed by shock, I accompanied the police to the station, recounting every detail, from the chilling phone call to the encounter with the unknown entity. Yet, despite my earnest testimony, no one believed me. Thankfully, no evidence implicated me as the culprit, allowing me to escape the clutches of the law. However, I was committed to a psychiatric hospital for 2 years due to my steadfast insistence on the truth. Even now, I hold firm to my beliefs and account of what transpired, for I know in my heart that it is all real. The ordeal I experienced, the horrors I witnessed, they were not mere figments of imagination. They were my reality, a reality that remains etched within me, no matter how others choose to dismiss it. Within the confines of this clinic, I have resided for over 5 long months. Uncertainty loomed with each visitor, as I had neither family nor friends to anticipate. However, when he walked through that door, I couldn't help but notice his peculiar attire and eccentric hairstyle. This man, Robert, approached me with a smile and uttered the words that struck at the core of my being. "Yes, I am Robert, and William, you are still alive. Today, I have come to reveal a truth that no one would believe at first." He went on to confess, unraveling a web of deception that left me reeling. It was Robert all along who had made that mysterious call from an undisclosed number, warning me of the imminent danger befalling my friend and his family. The coffee I had consumed was laced with hallucinogenic pills, distorting my perception and subjecting me to a torrent of bizarre sights and sounds. But the revelations didn't end there. Robert, or rather, Mark, as he now identified himself, confessed to a gruesome act. He admitted to murdering his wife and the child he believed to be his own. Shock rippled through me as he revealed the depths of his betrayal, driven by a sense of being deceived by Amelia. To conceal his misdeeds, he had substituted a lifeless body in his place, erasing all traces that could link him to the crime. The lengths to which he had gone to assume a new identity were staggering. Studying meticulously in my absence, he meticulously fabricated an entirely different life for himself. Mark had become someone unrecognizable, shedding his former existence as Robert. It was then that he uttered the words that chilled me to the bone, severing any lingering connection between us. "You, Maram, were merely a pawn in this twisted game. I am sorry, but you are not my friend. You were but a sacrifice for the sake of my vengeance. Farewell, William." With those haunting words, Mark bid his farewell, leaving me to grapple with the shattered remains of trust and the harrowing realization that the person I once called a friend had become a monster.
Today's story is over. Our stories are not over yet. See you tomorrow in a new day of horror. Goodbye.